I'm going to put the question like that. There's a lot to get into in terms of the justice system at the moment. We know there's a curious situation of reoffending rates happening at an alarming rate of knots from those people that they actually released from jail. On early release, of course, that was. But I just want to get into a wider story about sentencing and kids who commit crime. I mean, how many times does it cross our path that another under 16 has carried out a horrendous act? But this is particularly harrowing. As we speak, two 12-year-olds have begun, the case against the sentencing of two 12-year-olds has begun at Nottingham Crown Court. This, of course, is seen as one of the worst cases of child murderers in British legal history. I'm going to give you some of the details here. Two 12-year-old boys found guilty of murdering the teenager Shawn Seesahai in a random machete attack, as we speak, are in Nottingham Crown Court to be sentenced. I think the conclusion probably comes tomorrow. The details of this are so harrowing and so disturbing that I wouldn't legally even be allowed to bring you the finer details. I can tell you this young 19-year-old was stabbed in the heart, suffered a fractured skull, multiple injuries in November last year. Now, these two, we will never find out who they are unless there is some exceptional comment made from the judge, but at the moment they retain anonymity because of their age. But it's believed to be the worst, youngest convictions of murder in Britain, child murder in Britain, since Robert Thompson and John Venables, who were aged 11 back in 1993 when they killed 2-year-old James Bolger. So the details are disturbing, but these were two, this was a random attack. They did not know the victim didn't know the assailants. It was a random attack using a 43-centimetre knife, a machete, that's just shy of half a metre long. 12-year-olds out with a weapon of that magnitude, with that lethal capability, and used it. And the poor man died. He stood no chance against any of this. But of course the question is, and one of the assailants, one of the murderers, left a note the next day saying, it is what it is. Such was the nature of their lack of understanding, one would assume, of what they had done. Don't know whether they came from a world where not understanding murdering somebody with a half-metre blade is wrong. I would struggle to believe that any 12-year-old wouldn't know that is wrong. So, and I think most people listening to this would have exactly the same views. With that in mind, how do we deal with child murderers? I mean, there is an argument. This is the argument that's sympathetic to this, would be that you can only end up like this because of a thoroughly rotten upbringing and horrendous circumstances and God knows what. And you've heard all the kind of liberal arguments around this. Kid didn't stand a chance, grew up in a family, alcoholics, drug addicts, the place was a mess, never went to school, didn't know right from wrong, could come and go as they pleased any time of day and night. We've heard all of those kind of arguments around this. I can't buy into that. I cannot buy into the fact there is something, I would say, intrinsic in the human condition that tells you that if you put a half-metre blade into another human, they are likely to die. And that is what happened here. I don't believe, regardless of circumstances, anyone, even at that age, doesn't know that. And I think your human instinct would stop you from carrying out that act unless you wanted to. Should child murderers be tried as adults? 0344 499 1000. That is where you will find us.